Okay, so I'm just going to take you through a very quick run through of how to use Secretary. It's very straightforward. Essentially, this program allows you to copy any particular globbing pattern of files based either on the file extension or the reported file MIME metadata to your destination directories, and you can have as many of these patterns as you like, and optionally you can also arrange them in a kind of date ordered format. So I'll show you what I mean. If we have a look here in you see all these directories here in sort of year order, and if I show you the contents of, say, 2019, you can see that each folder is therefore in order. And then if we have a look inside these, you've got all the files neatly arranged based on date. So it's a really convenient way of keeping things in order. So this is just another optional way of structuring the data if you don't want to simply just copy particular files from destination A to a specified directory destination B. You could basically copy them from A to B, and then under B have them ordered in this date structured format. So it's just an optional usage. So if we just type secretary without any file specified, it will show you basically the listing of the currently defined task files, if you have any defined. Now, of course, I could, if I had a secretary task file in this current directory, called something like foo secretary, it would automatically run that instead. But if it can't find one in the current directory, it looks in the specified task directory. So you can see I've got 4 of them here. So again, secretary lists will show those. And if we have a look at, say, this Garmin one here, so called secretary edit, and I want to edit number 3, the Garmin workout. And as you can see, it's a very, very straightforward text format that you just use to define these configuration patterns. So any line obviously starting with a hash is a comment, and then you can have as many of these patterns, many of these lines as you want. But here you can see just got the one line, and probably in practice you'll find that most of the time you only have a very small number defined. So this time I'm choosing to define it based on the extension, which is uppercase FIT. It will also glob lowercase, so it's not case sensitive here, but I've just put it exactly as it does appear on my Garmin watch, for example. So every file on my Garmin watch, or if you have any other kind of Garmin device, for those of you that use them, you'll find that all the activity files are stored as a .fit file. So I want it to match the extension FIT, just that alone, so I haven't got any other file extension patterns defined in this second section here. The source directory is where my Garmin device is mounted, and this will be the destination directory. And you can see here we've got the date here. So what I'm saying is I want it to store it under this activities directory here, but I also want it to organize it by a date structure. So this is the optional part here, just at the beginning of the path. And the last part is the actual command. So here we are, I'm just using the copy instruction, no clobber, verbose, and preserve the timestamps only. I'm not interested in preserving the permissions and things because it's a different file system stored on the Garmin compared to my extended 4. But I do want the timestamps because I do want to preserve those time and date. So that's the contents of that file, so I'll just exit out of that. And so basically let's mount the Garmin. So just a really convenient way if you have a Garmin device, for those of you who do. If I show you in my file system tab here, if you Garmin devices normally use a uppercase Garmin label. So if you use that as the device descriptor kind of section in your file system tab file, it makes it very, very easy to mount. So I can just go mount media Garmin, and it's mounted. And so now let's run that secretary file. So secretary and Garmin workouts. Okay, so it's generated this file. You can see at the top here, it's generated this one here, this file operations script. The default location for these is .secretary under your home directory, and then this file ops there here. And it's asking, do I want to view it in a terminal pager or E to view it in your editor? So let's have a look at it in the editor. Well, that's opened it up on another screen, so you won't be able to see that. Let me just show you that manually then. So if we go vim secretary file ops, secretary file operations, it's obviously got the time and date stamped here. And so as I say, the idea with this is I strongly recommend, unless you're using scripts that you've used plenty of times before, you really know they work, to do the manual look through step first rather than run it with the auto function. But I'll show you the auto in just a moment towards the end of this video. Okay, so we have it's proposing to create these directories. Note that it's using the P switch, so if the directory already exists, no problem, it just won't be created again. And it's detected all of these potential files to copy. Now some of these may well be on there since the last time I synced, but it doesn't matter because, as you can see here, we're using the no clobber switch to copy, so it's going to just simply skip those ones. Okay, so let's quit out of that. So this is now an executable file, so let's just run it and basically file ops. Let's run this and it will copy all of the latest workout files from my Garmin to my computer. So you can see it's created two new directories, 11th of November and 12th of December, so that tells you I haven't bothered syncing my watch to my computer for, you know, nearly a couple of months now. But it's going ahead, and this is where it's really useful. You know, you can just basically grab the latest files, just the new ones, off your camera, your Garmin device, your MP3 player, basically anything. Now in this instance it's just pulling it all from this one directory, but you could imagine if you're connecting your phone that you may well have a number of different directories that you want to sort of look in and pull the latest files from. So this is when the ability to define multiple directory patterns becomes useful. So it should be done in a minute or so. Quite a few in there. Yeah, I didn't realise there was quite so many since I last synced. But anyway, there we go, they're all done. And if we just now have a look at, say, let's have a look inside December here, and you can see, here we go, these have been copied. In fact, we've got one from today. So, all created there. Okay, so that was, if I show you, if we do secretary, if we do secretary LSO, list file operations, we can see we have this one file operations script here that it's generated. Now if I do secretary clean, because we've just run that particular script, it's just copied all those new Garmin activity files across. It's done and dusted, we don't need it anymore. Secretary clean, removed, and if we call LSO, you can see that it's gone. Okay, so let's show you another example, this time pulling a load of photos and things from my phone. So if we go, and if we go, what is it, go mtpfs phone. Oh, forgot to background it, so I should have backgrounded that. And then if we have a look under phone, it should be mounted. There we go. So if we again, I'll show you this phone photo script here. So again, same principle. This time we're looking for file extensions of type JPEG, MP4 from this directory, so Telegram photos, and we've got some, again, JPEG and MP4s from the camera on the phone, and also I want to keep the any screenshots I've taken on my phone, which are stored as ping files under, again, this screenshots folder. And again, for all three of these, I am again using this optional date ordering principle. So basically I want it to take the photos, figure out what the file creation date is, the file stamp on them is, and use that to organize them neatly under my destination directories. So if I show you, for example, here we go. So again, pictures 2019, everything organized. And again, if I just show you, for example, LSL, let's have a look, 11 November. Again, you can see all of these photos here have November dates. And so, of course, it's just a really convenient way of storing your sort of files and information when there's no other particular obvious way of organizing it. Obviously, if you've got a load of files that relate to a project, or a load of files, you know, a load of photos from a particular holiday, you might put them in a, you know, if you went on holiday to Egypt, then you put them under a directory called Egypt or something. But even then, you might then want that still organized underneath in a kind of year sort of tree, year and month tree, you know. So you might have 2019, 11 November, and then Egypt under there. So it's just a really recommended way of long-term storage for all your files. Okay, so I've shown you the script file there, so all that's left really is to run it. Now this time I want to basically run this automatically. I'm not going to view or verify the operations scripts. So as I say, normally verifying it's a good idea because you can literally look through line by line and see exactly every single file that's going to be copied or moved or whatever it is you're doing, and you can make certain it's definitely doing what you're intending. However, if you know that your definitions are correct and you know that it works fine, then obviously you're going to want to probably automate this, or maybe run it in a cron script, or whatever the case may be. So let's run this one automatically. So secretary auto, and this one is phone photos, I believe. No photo. So there you go. It's told me that doesn't exist because it's secretary phone underscore photos. So let's run that. So it's going to process, figure out what needs to be copied and where. And there we go, off it goes. So I can immediately see from the folders it's copying to, they're all back from about October. So October was the last time I actually bothered to connect my phone to my computer and back up all of the photos manually this way. I know everyone has their cloud syncing devices, but there are those of us, you know, it's good practice to keep a hold of your own files as well, back them up to your own external hard drive. By all means use a cloud service, but the cloud service should be supplementary. I still think there's always good to keep hold of your own files as well, anything that's really important to you. So these should be, let's quite a lot of photos there, so should be done in a minute or so. Of course, you wouldn't have to sit here and watch this. If you had a big massive load of them, then you could just leave it and come back or get on with other things on the computer. So that's the beauty of this. So it's very much designed so you don't have to sort of interactively open up some application like your photo management software and manually tell it you want to sync your photos. I wanted to basically be able to type one command and know that all of my latest photos or whatever it is that I want to sync is done in the background, sorted. Yeah, it's taken a little while because I've obviously taken quite a few sort of video recordings, and those are MP4 files are obviously quite large. But it's into, yeah, I thought it was nearly done. Well, there we go. Okay, and it's created a log file. So whenever you run it in auto mode, you do get this log file. So obviously you can see what's happened. So you know, if we go, oops, let's have a look at that. Oops, there we go. What's going on here? So here's the file operations log. So and it hasn't logged anything there, so I've got a little bug here, so I'm going to have to check that. Typical, but I'll fix that. But I can verify that they will have all copied. So if we go back into the pictures directory here, let's have a look at as you can see, here we go, 12th of December. So remember, that directory didn't exist before. Oops. There we go. Okay, so before neither of these directories existed, they now do. And if we go into December, there you go, you can see all the photos have been copied. Starting from December the 1st, so I took a photo obviously on December the 1st, and we've got some going up to December 28th, so today in fact. And again, if I go into 11th of November, and again got some all through the month of November. So they've all been organised from my phone into their corresponding directories. And again, if I go into there we go. So again, we've now got the 12th of December, and we've got a few more screenshots there. So this is exactly what I wanted. I basically wanted it to pull all the files off my phone and organize them neatly, sensibly, into some sort of directory structure that I wanted on my computer, where they're very easy to permanently back up to my external hard drive or whatever the heck I want to do with it. So anyway, thanks for watching. I think the last thing I'm just going to show you is, again, if we do secretary LSO, oops, LSO, oh yeah, well, I've already shown you the clean function. So but basically, yeah, if I had any file operations scripts, I'd run secretary clean and then they're gone. So thanks very much for watching. I hope that basically shows you how to use this program. It's very straightforward. It's just a case of understanding the format of that configuration file. So the first section is, let's just open it up, cover it one more time. So let's open up the phone ones, for example. So to cover this one more time, so we define either extension, ext, or MIME, So a line must start with ext or mime. Remember, you can have as many of these lines as you need. So you can have a line defining extension, and then you can have another line which is defining mime. So ext or mime. So then after that, you want either your file extension pattern to match or your mime pattern to match. And again, you can have as many of these as you need, but just separate them with a space, that's all. Then your source directory, and just make sure that that is exactly how it actually just normally is. So note that we do not need to escape this space here. So my phone, the file system, uses internal space storage as the root directory. Don't need to escape it, just have it there. So internal storage, bitches, telerams, that's the source directory. So again, separated into the next field with a colon, and this is the destination directory, and I've prefixed it with this special date hash instruction here, which says I want you to create a date-based year, month directory substructure under this destination directory. So this bit here is optional. So if you don't want that, just get rid of it, and it'll just copy it from the source directory in a flat way, however it is. It'll just mirror it from whatever the structure is here to whatever the structure is straight over here. And then the last sort of field, you specify the operation that you want. So copy in this case, then my switches, and then just we terminate the line with the hash symbol here. And again, there's the second line. So again, a different directory, and again to that directory, and then another line with again a different directory. But I could have as many of these lines as I want, and as I say, if I wanted to match based on MIME type, for example, I could match all of the ASCII text files, or I could match Python files, or whatever, you could match binary files. So if you wanted to say just extract a bunch of files of a particular type from an archive or something, again, this would be a very convenient sort of quick way of doing it. Mainly if you just want to repeatedly have these kind of certain set tasks that you do over and over for whatever kind of backup or system administration or whatever kind of reason. It's just a nice wrapper around the find command that allows you to define as many masks as you like, and then any arbitrary operation that basically operates on a source and a destination. So most of the time it's going to either be copy, or you might want to use the move command. Obviously be careful if using move, but yeah, you could use move, but it would also work with any other command that takes a source and a directory basically as your two arguments. So that would also work as this final part switch here. So I hope that makes it very clear, and thank you for watching. Cheers.